Alright, so this is Robert Lawinger doing video log 2 for SPTE 399. I did my practicum at the Colonial Life Arena in the box office, and from what I understand I have to go over the supervisor evaluation form and basically do it for myself, and then after that ask myself an additional 5 questions to kind of evaluate myself and recap my practicum and see how it went and what I learned. So I guess for the first thing on here it says skills and abilities, and it's got a rating for 1 through 5, and the first thing on there is possess the necessary technical and computer skills, and I think I did this just fine. I worked a lot with Excel and Word, and I've had a lot of experience with that in class, so I knew how to use that pretty well. We also worked online creating images and stuff for our website, and learning how to, post stuff on the website and create the events on it was kind of tricky at first, but eventually I got it down and I know how to use it no problem now. So I think I did pretty well with that. And then for the images we created, we used Photoshop, and honestly I think I had the effective amount of skills. I'd give myself, I guess, a 2 or a 3 out of 5, because I know how to use it and I knew the basics. I just wasn't great at it. Oftentimes I would create the images, and then another worker who I knew there, he was really good at Photoshop, so I'd ask him for suggestions and he'd kind of help me out and give me some pointers. I mean, I got the job done. I could have done it on my own, but it was nice to have someone there that knew Photoshop a lot better than I did. The next thing down is written communication skills. I think I would give myself a 4 on this, because the communication skills we used for writing, I guess, would be in the emails we sent, and they were always professional, and I think I did pretty well with that. I mean, I think at the beginning I had some problems just checking over my spelling and stuff, but after that was pointed out, I made a point to always correct my spelling and all that kind of stuff. And then I also communicated with customers online over our instant messaging program that we have on our website. And again, yeah, I think at first I had some spelling errors, but after that was pointed out, I made sure I corrected them every time that I spoke with all the customers very politely and professionally, no matter how irritated and rude they could have been at the time. So I think I'd give myself a 3 or 4 on that one. And then for oral communication skills, I had to talk with customers a lot when selling tickets, and then we had to speak to each other in meetings, and whenever I talked to my supervisors, I'd be very polite and professional every time I spoke with all of them, so I think I'd give myself a 4 on that one as well. And necessary math skills, there wasn't a whole lot of math not a whole lot of difficult math, mostly just basic addition and subtraction and some multiplication. I think I did pretty well with that. I think really my main problem was not going over and checking my work as much as I should have. So I think I did the math well. Sometimes I would make mistakes and I wouldn't catch them. And after that was pointed out, I worked really hard to make sure I double checked everything. And I got a lot better, I'd say. So I gave myself a 3, I guess, mostly because I didn't do so well at first, and then I corrected it and came back and got better at it. And for work habits, I guess overall I'd say I did a satisfactory job. I wasn't an impressive intern like I thought I would be, but I did try hard, and the stuff on the list I think I definitely covered. The first thing is I showed ability to work independently, and I think I did that, definitely. A lot of the project I did on my own. There's usually 2 interns in this position, but it was just me this work period, I guess, and a lot of the work I had to do on my own, and it was kind of hard because when I was trained I thought I would have a lot more hands-on training and stuff, but it wasn't as thorough as I thought, and I should have taken more notes and done better. So as much as I worked independently, I kind of made a good amount of mistakes in the beginning, and I eventually got better, but it was a slow process. So I think I'd give myself a 3, like I said, satisfactory. And thoroughly completed assignments. Overall, every assignment I was given, I completed to my supervisor's specifications. I think she didn't always like the work that I did because because of her personal preferences, and I always tried to correct it and ask her how I could improve, and I always made an effort to work hard and try to do better with everything, so I'm going to give myself a 3 for that one. Not excellent or great, just satisfactory. And showed a sense of responsibility. I'm going to give myself a 4 because I held myself accountable for everything I did. Whenever I made a mistake or felt like I did something wrong, I always admitted it and talked about it and did my best to compensate for it. For example, I messed up a schedule. I thought when we had an event on sales that I thought employees needed to be scheduled all day, the additional ones anyway, but really they just needed to be scheduled until the line was taken care of. So after we realized that I made that mistake, I admitted it. That was my fault. I just didn't know better. And then to compensate for that, I called all those employees and let them know that there was a mistake in the schedule. So I held myself accountable, and I think I was very responsible for all the work I did. So I think I give myself a 4. And was dependable. I think I'd give myself a 2 or a 3 on that one, because I tried my hardest to complete all the projects, and I did complete them. They weren't always as good as my supervisor wanted. It's kind of hard to describe, because I did everything thoroughly, and I worked really hard to complete them. I don't think I did them entirely wrong. I just didn't get the best directions, and I should have asked more questions when I was unclear on stuff, and I kind of paid the price for that, so definitely something to remember for my next internship. And showed creativity on assignments. I think sometimes I did when I could. I'm gonna give myself a 3 as satisfactory, but overall I'm not the most creative person, and on creating images and stuff for the events. I tried to do my best to make everything look nice and professional, but I'm not really an artist. And I did do some things differently, like with the schedules. I think I was the one that started color coding them, so it was easy for the employees to look at. And my boss really seemed to like that. Displayed ability to work unsupervised. I'd give myself a 4 or a 5, because most of the work I was able to do, I just took the initiative to do it. Sometimes I needed to be told when to do some of the stuff when new events came on. But all the daily stuff I just did on my own, like vault audits. I get done every day, and I do those on my own, and without any supervision. And I always count down all the other employees at the end of the day with their registers. And I did most of this without any supervision. And there's a lot of other work I did unsupervised, but I got it on, I guess. And, professionalism, overall I think I did really well with this. My dad's had a business since I was a little kid, so I kind of knew how to act professionally in a work setting. So I think I did pretty well. The first thing under that is exhibited a professional attitude. I was always polite and courteous to everyone I met, so I'll give myself a 4 or 5 for that one. And the next thing was could adapt to changing circumstances, and I think there weren't too many changing circumstances, but whenever there was, I was able to adapt and change for it. I'd give myself a 3 or a 4, because I think sometimes I struggled with some of the new assignments, but other than that, I was able to change and do them pretty well. The next thing was cooperative. I was always cooperative, tried to work well with everyone I was there with, and I made sure I tried to get everything done that I was asked. And the next thing was punctual. I think in the first month or so, I've always been good at getting to work early or on time, and this was the first time I had a work environment where I not only had to be at work on time, but then at different points on certain days of the week I had to be in meetings. So I think at first it was hard for me to figure out how to stop myself from doing one task and make sure I was at the meeting at the right time. So I think I was late 2 times to meetings, and I decided I'd reprogram my phone so that the only time it ever made a noise was when I needed to be somewhere, or it just made it better for me to get to my appointments on time and turn everything in. And it never rang for text messages or phone calls or anything like that, just when I had to be somewhere. So I didn't want it to ring when I was in a meeting or anything, so I just had it set so it would ring when I needed to be somewhere, and that helped a lot. So I think I'll give myself a 3 or a 4, because there were a couple times I was late to those meetings, but after I reprogrammed my phone, I was on time every time. So, and then after that, came to work regularly. I'd say I'd give a 5, because I never missed a day, and I never arrived to work late. And the next thing was presented an appropriate personal appearance, and I think I did pretty well with this, because I always dressed in business casual, which was our required uniform, and there were casual Fridays, and most of them I still just wore business casual, because I thought it was a better choice. And after that, it's other. It says general maturity, and I guess I'd say a 4. I don't really know of anything I did that could have been immature. And then the next thing was understood the job description. I guess I would say a 3. I didn't really understand how much paperwork is involved and how many small details there were going to be involved in this. That's one of my weaknesses, I guess, is paying attention to all those little tiny details. I really need to learn to check over my work a lot better than I do. I always did after I realized that was a weakness of mine during this internship, and I'm still working on getting better at it. And I know there's definitely been improvement, but that's something I'm going to work on. So I'm going to give myself a 3 for that. And then on the next page, based on the students' work, what grade would you give them? I'd give myself a C or a B, because I guess a B, because I always tried hard. I know I had some trouble getting settled into the internship, and I made a fair amount of mistakes when I first started, just because I guess I wasn't ready for it, and I didn't know what to expect. I had trouble training because I thought it would be a lot more thorough, and it was my fault, because I should have taken better notes and really learned everything better. But I always tried. I always wanted to be working, and I always wanted to help out, and there wasn't a moment when I wasn't trying hard to improve or do better. I know almost every day I would go into work saying to myself that I had to improve today, and I'd kind of make a to-do list every day and try to think of new ways I can be better at my job. So I was always trying to improve. I think that's why I deserve a B, even though I made some mistakes. And, alright, so for the question I wanted to ask myself, the first one is what did I think of my internship? And overall it was good. It was kind of a struggle at first, because I just was not ready for that kind of an atmosphere. I never worked in an office or anything like that, with all the paperwork and documents and filing and all that kind of stuff. It was definitely a new situation for me, and I learned a lot. And I don't really think an office setting like that is one for me. I think I'd rather be closer to the events and working with them. But it was good internship. And the second question I have down here is did it go the way I expected? And I'd have to say no. In school and in my past work experiences, I've always done really well. I think I have a 3.73 GPA overall right now. That's the lowest it's ever been. I'd like to get that back up to a 3.9, or if I could. Hopefully I can. I should be able to. And but in all my past work experience, all my supervisors liked me, and I was always a lot better than the other employees, just because I showed a lot of initiative, and I always wanted to be working. I never wanted to slack off or play around. In this job, it's not enough just to have that initiative and good work ethic. You have to pay so much closer attention to details and stuff like that, and I think I kind of struggled learning all the new stuff that I had to do there. And I think that's why I didn't go as well as I had planned. Maybe I could have prepared better for every day, but it was kind of a struggle. Definitely not what I expected. And the third question I've written down is what did I learn? I learned how the box office operates on a daily basis. Everything that kind of goes through to get all the ticketing together. It's a lot more than just counting tickets. I knew it was going to be more than that. I just didn't know exactly what. And whole different computer systems on ticket reservations, and there's so much that goes into thinking about where all the different seat sections are going to be and the prices, the price breakdown for all the stadiums, and how the promoters work that out. They basically have the final say in everything, and they're open to our suggestions, but according to my supervisor, they don't really listen. They just kind of set their prices where they'd like to. And then all the seat holds and the stuff that they have to do for the promoter and the shows, and how they take that into consideration when they sell tickets. Also for all the pre-sales they do, and the way they set up all the pricing on the websites, and then announcing different events, all the different procedures that have to go into that. There was a lot to learn in the box office, a lot more than I thought anyway. And then I also learned how I always learned that there are like different departments and stuff that like go into a venue, like an arena or something like that. And I knew there was like event coordinators, the box office, the operations department, and the finance department. But being able to go into weekly meetings with all the staff, seeing how everyone comes together to get everything running was really interesting for me to see, and I'm glad I was there and able to learn how everyone comes together just to put on events and keep that arena running smoothly. And everyone does a lot, and they're all dependent upon each other to make sure everyone does their job well and to keep the arena running. And it's really cool to see all those meetings and how everyone comes together, and they really communicate with one another to try to give their fans the best experience possible. And that's something I think the Colonial Arena really has down. I mean, I've never been anywhere else that, I mean, their customer service slogan is "How you doing?" That's everyone asks that to all the customers, and they try to make sure they're having a good time. Just all the stuff they do in the background to make sure their fans can have the best experiences. They do a lot for the fans, and I think it's a really great place. And then another thing to learn is I just learned a lot about myself. Going through interviews, I tried to think of my weaknesses and strengths from all my other jobs, and having jobs where I worked at Subway or the Gap or teaching a skateboard camp, it doesn't really show me all my strengths and weaknesses as much as I'd say a real job, but it was just an internship. But doing stuff like that really pointed out some of my flaws that I had, and I'm going to work a whole lot harder to improve on all of those. And I definitely do have some strengths that set me apart from everyone else, but brought to light a lot of flaws I didn't know about, and now that I know about them, I'm going to work to improve them. I guess for the next question, I had question 4 was has this helped me find direction in my career path? And I think it definitely has. I found out that this career wasn't exactly something I'd like to do. I thought the box office would be really interesting, and I thought I'd like to learn how to work in it. I thought I wanted to work in the box office, but I don't think I want to work in an office setting like that. I think I definitely learned that I do want to stay in the venue side of everything. I want to try to see what events, being an event coordinator or an events manager or operations. I want to see how either of those two departments are like when working with them. I think it'd be a lot better for me to get outside of an office to do that. And I think that's all of them. So overall, I think this internship was a great opportunity, and I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot more about myself than I think I did about I guess that's not true. I learned a lot about the working in a venue and how everything works, and I learned a lot about myself at the same time. I definitely wouldn't trade this experience for anything, and it's a lot different from being in a class. It's definitely a good way to learn a lot about yourself, and how having a career in this field would really be like, other than just sitting in a class and learning about it from someone who's been there. So that's video log 2. Thank you.